Hey guys, it's Stephen here. How are you all doing? It's the end of the week, it's Friday, and I've got that Friday feeling. Also, do you like the fact that I've got a Christmas tree in shot now? How good's that? That's our Christmas tree. I've turned the camera on a bit for I'll get it in the videos because it's Christmas and all that, but it also means all the football is here because it's Christmas, and City play Everton tomorrow, 7th place Everton, and it's a big game because if we win we put pressure on Liverpool ahead of their game against Manchester United at Anfield on Sunday. We could go first again tomorrow if we beat Liverpool's crosstown rivals Everton, so it's a huge game. And also don't forget, if you are new to this channel, make sure to click that subscribe button. I make loads of Manchester City content talking about academy games, the transfers, to previews, to reactions, all that kind of stuff, and I try and be realistic and as reasoned as I can do. So if you like a Manchester City fan talks a nice sense about football, hopefully I'm your man for that. And also don't forget as well, you want to help support this channel, head over to patreon.com/Esteemed Kompany. That's my Patreon where I'm trying to kind of like get to certain tiers, so one day maybe I'll be able to do this full time, which would be absolutely amazing. And also there's a couple of things like you get a Patreon list, you can get a shout out in the video and also on the credits at the end of the video, and also get involved in the Patreon Q&A. But anyway, let's get into the actual video. So let's go into the team news stroke press conference bit from today. Pep Guardiola had a lot to say. Well, he had a few things to say. I'm going to start initially with the fact that he said there'll be no major signings in January, and probably no signings at all. He's been saying that quite often now, and managers are prone to changing their plans because it's football and that's what people do, but I think he actually does mean it. I think in general we've got a very strong squad, and I felt a few injuries have happened doesn't really change that. It's very tempting to jump in and sign a bunch of players and people get injured, but that does create problems in itself when they all inevitably come back in 2 or 3 weeks time. But on the injury front, it's very good news. Guardiola did say that Aguero and Bruyne have both trained pain-free this week for the past couple of days, and they are basically in contention for tomorrow's game. Whether they'll start or not, I don't know. He's keeping his cards close to his chest on that front, but I suspect they'll both be on the bench personally, but it's very good news. He offered no update on Fernandinho, which means, I'm sure means he's probably fit and ready for tomorrow potentially, but David Silva is still obviously out unfortunately, alongside long-term absentees like Mendy and Claudio Bravo. But it obviously is good that we've got a couple of players back there potentially in De Bruyne and Aguero, 2 absolute talisman. And against Chelsea last week, we looked like we missed that kind of talisman, and obviously this is a huge game now, a chance to rebound basically after our first loss of the season. It's going to happen eventually. It happened last week, but now the most important thing is how we react. And obviously this is a huge chance against a good team to impress. But let's go into the actual lineup. Well, I think it's no surprise it's going to be Ederson between the sticks. He's always going to be Ederson between the sticks, and he's there. And I think we'll go for what is on paper our strongest back four at the moment. Centre-back pairing obviously of Laporte and Stones, and Kyle Walker and Fabian Delph at full-back. Zinchenko wasn't that great midweek, so he won't play left-back surely. Danilo, I don't know where he is, if he's still injured. Most likely he is still injured. And then Stones did go off kind of with a knock allegedly midweek, but he seems to be fine. So I think it's going to be Stones and Laporte. Obviously Stones want to have a big game given it's his old former club there. I think Fernandinho will be past fit to play this game, so I'm expecting him to anchor the midfield, with Gundogan actually pushed a little bit further up. Gundogan was obviously very good midweek, sitting a little bit deeper, but I think in general obviously Fernandinho still has his claws in that role, so Gundogan I think will play a little bit further forward alongside Bernardo Silva. De Bruyne on the bench in my personal opinion. Obviously there's no David Silva. Foden was really good midweek, obviously still staking his claim for a regular spot, but I think he'll be back on the bench for this one. Maybe he'll be starting midweek against Leicester instead. And up front I can't really see past Leroy Sané. He was the Champions League player of the week with a sensational brace against Hoffenheim. That free kick, I'm still thinking about that, so he surely will be rewarded with his form with a start in this game. And then through the middle I think he's going to be Gabriel Jesus still. I thought he was pretty good the other day, really good. He just needs a goal now, and I think Aguero, he's not the kind of person you just throw in to start after a few injuries. I think he'll be on the bench for this one, come on as a late sub. On the right I would probably carry on with Sterling once again, but wouldn't be surprised to see Mahrez there, but I'm going to say it's going to be Sterling. So that's my 11 there. Let me know in the comments what you think our 11 will be. Either way, it's looking pretty strong in my personal opinion. Obviously a few players missing, but that should be enough to get the job done. And on to the Everton, and this is a different Everton this year, very much the best of the rest outside the traditional big six, only 2 points behind United at the moment, down in 7th place. They're a team very much on the up at the moment, and they're capable of higher highs than they were last year, I would say. They're still not being perfect, and they're still obviously prone to dropping some points here and there, but they are a team with a bit of an identity, and Marco Silva is starting to craft them into something quite nice at the moment, and maybe at some point in the future they'll start to challenge 1 or 2 of the big six potentially with the right kind of investment. But all I know at the moment is they are a team to take very seriously. Obviously they've got the 8-goal striker in Richarlison in front, a very informed striker. The kind of will score a goal if we give him a chance, so hopefully we don't. Then they've got like the silky skills of Bernard and Gomez left and in midfield, very good players. And then obviously you've got Walcott, who always loves a goal against Manchester City, so they have some good players there. There's some doubts about Idrissa Gueye, if he's going to start or not, if he's got an injury, but I suspect he will be involved. Essentially Everton Everton are a good little team who are in decent form at the moment. They've had a perfect run of results drawing at Newcastle and Watford recently, and obviously they were done by that freak last-minute goal against Liverpool to lose. But they've had some good performances. A 0-0 away at Chelsea is nothing to be sniffed at, and a good 3-1 win against Brighton. So they are a team that can basically do something on their day. So we've got to take them very seriously. But I still think, having said all that, if we turn up tomorrow at home, raring to go, we could send a statement out to Liverpool that they've got to do something special against Manchester United. I mean, they'll probably beat United, but you never know. Either way, it's in our hands here at the moment. So I reckon I'm going to go for a confident victory. I'm going to go for 3-1, I reckon. I think Everton will score. I can just see him scoring. I don't like to get cocky and say like loads of goals, but I still think we'll win. I think if we turn up and be focused, and I think we will get a reaction after last week, that should be more than enough to get a very important 3 points. But as ever, guys, that's just my opinion on this. Let me know what you think the team will be. Let me know your score predictions and what you make of Everton at the moment. And don't forget, if you want to get your name scrolling down the side like all these people here, all you got to do is head over to patreon.com/Esteemed Company to be one of my patrons, one of my channel supporters. You're all absolutely awesome. But anyway, there'll be a match reaction as always straight after the game tomorrow. And don't forget, if you're new to this channel, subscribe, like this video, get in the comments below. I've been Stephen. See you in a bit.